Rockstars, it's Amara. I love the change from any season into another, and we are about to see the change into spring. In preparation for that, I of course do spring cleaning. As fun as it would be for you guys to watch me rearrange my refrigerator, instead I thought we'd talk about the transition into a different season. We're gonna do a little spring changing. Things that are helping me move into that spring space. We did autumning way back when, and then I talked about how I really like to kind of seep into a season, but this is something else. This is how I like to change things up. There's some DIYs in here, there's some just decor stuff. This is pretty punk rock Seattle lifestyle decisions. Here we go. Spring changes. I have a new car and it's exciting. It's my first ever real new car. I usually roll around me and one other person, and I do have a 4-seater car. So I've got this back area and I had this idea that I could go ahead and spruce it up. And here's what we did. Threw down a blanket. This is an old faux fur blanket that I had. Put up some pillows. 2 pillows. Now these are both from Target. They were from the Valentine's Day collection. And I put some magazines in there. This is a Seattle magazine about the World's Fair. That's where we got the Space Needle. Glamour about Women of the Year. And then Hidden Seattle in the back. That's a copy of the Seattle Met. These are all magazines I haven't really read, but I'm keeping them here just so I can go ahead and do that in my free time. And I brought a beverage in here. So basically, I'm turning the back of this car into a roving sofa. If I get a cold, I could even curl up. Pretty much just built myself a second house. Because we're spring changing, the beverage I have chosen is this. This is my go-to kind of spring summertime beverage. It is a Trankta. Yeah, I said it. A passion tea lemonade, no sweetener. Then I can just lay here. That's right. You buy a car, you get your money's worth, y'all. Anyway, oh, this is super comfy. One of the things I'm really hoping to do this spring is spend a little bit of time driving around and traveling in the area. And one of the things that always helps me get ideas is looking at a map of Seattle. Like most major cities, Seattle has a lot of different suburbs and neighborhoods. I tend to call them boroughs because I like that idea. I have an old map and it's been rolled up for a long time because I haven't had a frame to put it in. So I went to Goodwill and decided I would come up with a new frame idea. So guys, this DIY is something that's temporary because you don't want Mod Podge anywhere near like a piece of art you want to keep. Just as an FYI, it's like a warning. This is punk rock. Let's do it. Things you will need include tissue paper in your background colors, washi tape in various colors, a frame, ideally with glass, a bit of Mod Podge, a brush you don't care about, some tape, a place to pour the Mod Podge. Why is there a mason jar? Because everyone knows DIY is better with mason jars. And of course the poster that you've been holding on to forever and need to put back on the wall. I'm gonna take this kind of weird size poster, put it into this larger frame, and make it fancy as opposed to the terrifying picture from the 80s that's in it right now. You guys, doesn't this look kind of like an upside down Black Widow spider and some flowers? Ugh, terrifying. Anyway, now flip the frame around backwards. One of the things when you pick out a frame you need to make sure is you look at how it gets taken apart. In this case, it's these L-shaped things, and then you've got screws that are flatheads. So one thing that I didn't show you yet that we need is a flathead screwdriver. So I'm gonna go ahead and unscrew these and take this thing apart. This is the screwdriver I ended up needing. Any screws you have, you guys be sure to put them in a specific space. But muffin tin. And then I'm gonna keep going other places in the picture. So we'll slide this down. You have to be really, really careful with them at this point because the glass can distance itself from the frame, as you'll see going on here, and you can crack the glass. No one wants that. When you get to the last one of opening a frame that's got these kind of cornered proportions, what's gonna happen is the whole thing's gonna start to separate. There's also some little push bars that help push the frame against the glass. You will see one right here as I move this. Boom. I couldn't have asked for a better example. There you go. I wanna keep these all, so in my case, I'm gonna put them like right on the side of this little cup too. And these guys. All right, so I've gotten all the pieces removed from the actual piece of glass, and then the picture itself is probably behind this piece of cardboard. The thing that's gonna happen is I'm actually gonna separate the glass from these other pieces and clean it off and set it aside. Cleaning glass like you do windows and stuff. So next thing that's gonna happen is I'm actually gonna separate the glass from these other pieces. Old newspaper, lay it out. Now I recommend seeing if there's anything to salvage from this. Lo and behold, this really good, strong piece of paper to work off of, and I can just Mod Podge right onto this. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Oh my gosh, it's Mod Podge together. When you manage to get Mod Podge out of the incredibly old container, you're gonna wanna probably shake it up. I think in fact it probably says on here somewhere, shake it up. You pour it into a container. That's probably plenty. Put this back on, or the world gets awful. I'm gonna take the papers and think about what you want to do. You can break them into small pieces and create a really crazy collage. That's pretty tempting. You can make it in stripes. That's also pretty tempting. I'm gonna really just take a bunch of pieces, and instead of using them to make like a crazy collage, I'm actually gonna use them to make the same color in a block. You wanna shred all of your pieces before you start, because otherwise we're talking about glue plus little bits of tissue paper. Which order do I want these in? So we're thinking pink to the green fade or green to the pink fade. Kind of love it this way. Yep, I think that's what we're doing. So we're doing green to a pink fade. I'm gonna put this over here as my map. And I'm roughly placing them on there on purpose. I want them to get textures, and I want them to create something interesting. smaller the pieces you make, the more precise you can be. If I was wanting to really do something fancy, I could cut them out as hearts and make a heart background for this, or stars or rainbows, or basically anything that comes in a Lucky Charms container. About here, think of that as my third line. Then it sits here and dries. And shazam, it is all dried. Step 2 is I'm gonna go ahead and unroll this. I'm gonna try and center it, eyeball it. Use some tape, just hold the ends down. It's time to reassemble it. Yeah, pretty happy with that. So there's the poster. Voila! It's up and beautiful. It is obviously not the most professional hanging of a poster, but I had it around, it wasn't being used, and I thought it would bring a little bit of spring in, and I could not be happier about having my map back. I wanted my camera to be able to change with the season with me, and it's windy out there sometimes. I made a little wind muff. It's cute. It goes over the microphone space, like a tiny mohawk for my camera that makes sound not so bad when wind happens. So hey guys, I'm shooting this from my desk. As you can tell, I'm not shooting with the vlogging camera because the vlogging camera is part of this. What I'm gonna look to do is measure this area right here where the microphone's setting, and that's where the Velcro is actually gonna go, so that I can put on top of this sound muff. I'm gonna take this post-it note here and I'm gonna cover up these dots. I'm creating like a teeny tiny little layout here for where this sits. So that's there, and then I can look here and go, okay, the edge of the flash is right here. I need these 2 points to meet, which is basically about there, and that's my really rough outline. So what I'm doing here is I'm making a teeny tiny pattern. I can cut this out, just this base piece out, and put it right on top of where we were. Look at that and go, okay, so that would, if I made something that was this size, it would still need to be trimmed down a little bit just to have space, definitely for the camera's flash to be able to get up, and definitely be able to have the power button on. Also, this is a little off center, so I'm gonna trim this back and cut that back just a smidge. That is much, much better. I'm gonna try and figure out where those sound holes are. If I made something that just went over this, of course I'd be blocking the microphone. To make sure this gets as much sound as possible, I've got to cut out a tiny rectangle. So what I'm doing here is I'm making a teeny tiny pattern for the piece of Velcro and the pieces of fluff. I'm gonna thin that out a little bit more. I feel like that is pretty much the perfect template. It's out of the way, but it's out of the way of the on button, and more importantly, it's out of the way of the flash. And also, most importantly, it's got all the microphone buttons exposed. Got this piece of pink fur and a piece of leopard pink fur, because I'm a subtle person. So this is the back of the fur. It's gonna adhere to one of the pieces, and then the other piece will adhere to the camera. Fuzzy on fuzzy, really what's gonna end up happening is it will attach like that, but the middle will be missing, and the middle will be missing so that the sound can still get through there. But this fuzz will hopefully take away some of that wind sound. When you have really high fur, like this one, this like magenta Muppet stuff, I found that cutting that one, no matter how many times I tried to do it, there's just not that much left when you cut out the piece where you actually need the sound to go in. This was actually the one I thought would do better because it seems fluffier. However, the one that is going to turn out to be perfect is this little guy right here, and it's going to do exactly what I wanted, and it's going to look like Cruella de Vil. Got this open, and the reason the barrel's out is because I was testing that. Let's see if I can do it. Boom! There it is without it interrupting the tape or there being any problems. So I'm going to set that up right now. Like it has a little punk rock mohawk. It's cute. You can pop the light up, but it is worth noting that you're going to want to kind of hold the fur back when you shut it back down. Probably just not going to want to keep this on there all the time. I'm going to keep a couple of these with me just in case I encounter a really windy space, and that's my best option. I'm going to go ahead and test this guy outside. That feels like a good bit of wind, so hopefully that'll do it. I do have the muff on the camera now. Do you guys see that? Then the wind came. As you continue to follow along with my videos, you're probably gonna notice a couple of themes. And one of the themes that's pretty common, because it's a common theme in my life, is doing small things that make a big difference to how you feel. So one of the things that I did, super simple, I took all my keys and I updated them a little bit. I added some like trinkly trinkets, and updated those. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button. There's also the subscribe button if you haven't done that. Please do. You can join me on more adventures and more weirdness as we go forward. Ring the bell so that you get notifications every time I put out new videos. Then you get to see them brand fresh and new. You can be first comment if you can beat me. I'm gonna go ahead and start doing some first comment questions. If you're curious about those, check the comments. Please let me know in the comments below what you're doing to change the season. If there's a thing you really love about spring, I'd love to know that. If you really love cherry blossom season, let me know, because we're in the same boat. If you're going, man, this Amara chick's interesting, I'd like to know more about her weirdness, that's completely plausible. I have 2 other channels. Amara Not In Seattle is the travel channel. We do videos on the Tuesday. If that's not enough, you need more weird bonus content? By gum, there's also the vlogging channel, Amara In Seattle Vlogs. And I'm gonna be going to Raleigh, North Carolina in the start of March. If you live in the North Carolina area, if you make YouTube content, you're interested in YouTube content, join us at the Meetup. The details on Amara In Seattle, the Facebook page. And if you're going to Vidcon Europe, Vidcon in Anaheim in the US, if you are going to Summer in the City, leave me a comment below, send me a message. I'm going to all those things. There's also the website, AmaraInSeattle.com. All over social media spaces at Amara In Seattle. It's a whole lot of places, a lot of options, and there's different stuff on all of them. Woo! Best adventures, rock stars. Amara In Seattle. That's my top of the Space Needle part. I love you guys. Hugs and kisses. Best adventures, Amara In Seattle.